Welcome to this video presentation on the post mail server configuration for Patriot PS personal server. Hello, my name is Pradeep Nambiar. I am the product architect and developer for the Patriot PS personal server solution that lets you manage your data on your server and on your terms. In this short presentation, I will show you how to configure your mail clients to retrieve and send your mail using your own mail server configured on your Patriot PS personal server. Now, before viewing this presentation, I suggest you review the part 1 of the series, which is called the mail server configuration. You can download this video from the following link. It's also available from our YouTube Pexus channel. The link is given here. You can also go to our website www.pexus.com/patriotps/media, where we have a collection of all the documentation and the presentation videos on Patriot PS personal server. Okay, so here is what we are going to see in this short video. We will pick up from where we left off in the previous presentation, where we saw the mail configuration success page from the PPS configuration application. This page, which I suggest you print and keep, contains very useful information with regards to the ports that you will need to know, both for configuring your router to port forward to your Patriot PS personal server, and also you will need these when configuring your mail client. We will quickly view how to configure some of the popular mail clients and also see how we can directly access the mail and even send email using the popular Squirrel Mail web application that is already installed and configured during the mail server configuration process. We will also see how you can create additional mailboxes on your mail server for your domain. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the mail server configuration status success page. This is the page that is displayed after your mail server is configured. As you can see here, this shows that a default mailbox, which is PPS admin, this is the default user ID that is used to access your personal server. PPS admin at your domain name. In this case, in the example that we used iserve4.me as a domain name. So a default mailbox has been created for you. You can create additional mailboxes, as I said, using the postfix admin application. And the link for the postfix admin application is also provided on this page. So if you click on this page, it shows you the postfix admin application where you would use the login email, which should be ppsadmin at iserve4.me. This is the domain name that I used in the example, and the password that was provided when you configured your mail server. Okay, let's take a look what other information is available on this page. There is a section for port forwarding, and here you will see the ports that you would need to configure on your router, specifically port 443, port 25, 465, 587, 995 and 993. Now these are the ports that your personal server is listening to. You could either use a different port on your external IP address, or you can use the same ports and then have these ports forwarded to the exact same port on your personal server, which is configured in this case with this IP address. So depending upon the IP address that you have configured your personal server, that is also shown here for reference. Next, as I mentioned before, this is the URL for the postfix admin application, and here is the login ID that is used to log in to administer this application to create additional mailboxes. The link to the webmail, which is based on the Squirrel webmail application, is also provided here, and again you would use the same default mailbox, or if you have created additional mailboxes using postfix admin, you will use that email address to log into your webmail. So if I click on this link, you would see the sign-in page for the webmail, and again you would use the PPS admin at iserve4.me or whatever domain that you have used to configure your mail server. Next, there is a section which talks about provides the parameters that you would need if you were to configure your mail client, whether it is Mozilla's Thunderbird or iOS Mail, Android Mail, Microsoft Outlook. The information is very similar. So if you use POP3S to retrieve your email, so here are the parameters that you would need to configure. So for the server name, you would use your mail MX record, which points to your mail server. So you could use MX dot whatever MX record that you had created for your mail server. Also, the port number for POP3S is provided, and the authentication method that you would use is called the normal password, and you would use the login ID for your mailbox. And if you are using the default mailbox, which is ppsadmin at your domain name, and you would set the connection security to SSL /TLS. So there are multiple protocols typically the mail clients can use, which depends on what your server is configured to. So that information is provided in this section. Now you can also retrieve email using IMAP S setting. So if you were to use this protocol, this is the port that you need to use, and also the connection security, which is again, it uses SSL /TLS protocol for security. And if you have to configure for outgoing mail, you can use your personal server to send mail for you. So in that case, you would use the outgoing SMTP server as your mail server, MX record, and also the SMTPS port, which is 465. And you would use the username and the password that you used when you configured your mail server. The last section in this page is the SSL certificate fingerprint. Now this is very important. Whenever you try to connect to your personal server's mail server, the SSL certificate that is used is actually a self-signed certificate. So, but you can easily verify that you are connecting to your mail server by verifying the fingerprint from the certificate. So if you're connecting using your iOS mobile device, you can choose to view the certificate that you're connecting to, because it will always give you a warning since you are using a self-signed certificate. So you can scroll down and look at the fingerprint for your certificate that should match this number, so which will ensure that you're connecting only to your mail server. So once you have printed this information, and you can click confirm button to confirm your configurations. This confirm will ensure that your Patriot PS personal server now knows that it has been configured as a mail server and you have accepted these settings. So it is very important that you need to scroll down to this page and click on the confirm button. Once you have configured your mail server, you should update the personal server profile information. So navigate to the home page of the PPS configuration application and click on modify button for the personal server profile. You should go to the last page in this section where you specify the external and internal port mapping information. Now if you remember, initially we had provided the mapping information for HTTP SSL port, which is used by all the web applications hosted on your personal server. Now that you have configured a mail server, there are some additional ports that you would have to map on your router. Now the SMTP and SMTPS port are pretty standard port. You should use the standard port 25 and 465. The reason for this is that whenever mail is sent to your mail server, it uses these standard ports. Now you could change this port, but you would have to have a service where your MX record knows where to forward your mail when it is trying to receive the email. So I would suggest that you use the standard port 25 and port 465, and that is mapped to the internal port which is on your personal server. The other three port, which is the mail submission port used for sending emails from your mail client, and also the POP3S for retrieving email, or if you choose to use the alternate protocol IMAP S port, is something that you can either choose to have your own custom port, or you could use the standard port. For now, I will use the standard port 587 for mail submission, and then 995 for the POP3 and 993 for the IMAP. So once you specify this information and submit, what your personal server would do is that it will record this information, and at the same time it would also send you a profile email which is sent to you for your reference. So if you go and see your notification email that was provided when you had set up the profile for the PPS admin user ID, it sends a profile information email. So let's go and see what the profile email looks like. If you look at your inbox for the notification email address that you have provided, you would see Patriot PS profile updated email in your inbox, and this email has got a lot of useful information, such as how do you access your personal server from outside the internet, and how would you access some of the common applications. It also includes the digital fingerprint information for your HTTP, the Web SSL certificate. So if you see the warning from your browser when trying to access applications on your personal server, you can verify the fingerprint with this fingerprint, and then you can be rest assured that you are connecting to your personal server. It also contains the mail server configuration, such as what SMTP server you're using, what is your domain name, what is the MX record, and also the port information, what is the external port that you have provided, and also what is the internal mail server port on which the personal server is listening to. So you would use this information to configure your router to do the port forwarding, so that you can access your personal server from the internet, and you can also ensure your mail server is listening to these ports and is accessible from the outside internet, so that your mail server is available on the internet and can receive and send email. There is also links to the postfix admin access URL. There is other information as how would you access the webmail, whether you're accessing it from the internet. You can either, if you have provided an externally addressable host along with the external port, it provides you the URL, so you can bookmark these URL, or if you are accessing from your home network, you could use the internal LAN IP address and the URL corresponding to that. So if I click on this, I can access my webmail if I'm within the home network, or if I'm outside the home on the internet, then I can access my webmail using this URL. So this email is very handy. It's something that you can keep in your inbox, and you can bookmark it on your web browser, so that you have your personal server applications handy at all times. Next, let's take a look at how you would configure your mail client. In this case, I'm using the Thunderbird mail client from Mozilla, and you would use the file to set up a new mail account, and you would use the information that was shown after the mail server configuration success page, where for the protocol, in this case I'm using POP3 to retrieve my email, you would specify the server name and the port number. Now this port is your external port that you configured on your router to port forward to the POP3S port of your personal server. So this could be the port. If you're using the same ports, you would use the same port. In this case it is 995, or if you had remapped that port to a custom port, in my case I have used a custom port here, so let me input the custom port number, which is 10995, and you would select the protocol for retrieving the email and also the authentication method. The same configuration information that was printed on the success page, you would use that information to specify here. And once you specify this information, you can actually click on done, and when you click the done button, you would see that your mail client tried to contact your mail server, and it found that you're using a self-signed certificate, and this is a certificate where you can view the fingerprint information and ensure that this fingerprint matches with the profile information that was shown to you or sent to you in the profile email. Once you verify that you are connecting to your personal server, you can close it and confirm this certificate as your certificate, and from that point onwards you would have set up your inbox on your mail client, and you should be able to start retrieving your mail from your personal server. Now let's take a look at how you would configure your mail client, in this case an iOS, to set up a new mail account and then specify the similar setting that you specified for the Thunderbird mail client, and you would specify the host name, the email address, the password, and you should also go to the advanced section and turn on the SSL option, and also specify the specific port that your POP3 is listening to. In this case, if you're using a custom port, you would use a custom port or use the standard port. And then once you do that, you should be able to retrieve the email, and the first time you retrieve it, you would see the SSL warning, and you can verify it by using the fingerprint. Next, let's take a look how we can create some additional mailboxes using the Postfix admin application. You go to your PPS configuration application homepage, click on the mail tab here, and click on the view. This provides you the current configuration, and also provides you some EC URL pointers for your Postfix admin and your webmail. So if you click on the Postfix admin URL, you will be able to log into this application and create additional mailboxes. You can create a mailbox, give it a new name, say, and then give a password. And then add the mailbox. So once you create a mailbox, you can use the same methodology that we saw in order to set up the mail client for this particular mailbox, whether it is the Thunderbird mail client or the Outlook mail client or your iOS mobile device. All the steps to set up the mail client is exactly the same. Instead of the user ID, you would provide the newly created mailbox as the user ID and the password. You can also launch the Postfix admin from this mail page. There is a launch button here, and or the other application that is useful is the webmail access. And in order to launch the webmail, you can click the access webmail button here, and that will launch the web mail. And you can access your webmail from the internet also, as long as you use your external IP address instead of the internal IP address. You should be able to access the application from the internet when you're away from home. So use your email address to log in, which is, or if you have created a new mailbox, you can use that. Once you log into your webmail, you can see your email, and you can also use this application to send emails. You can compose email and send it right from here, just like your familiar Gmail or Yahoo Mail webmail access. You can use the Squirrel Mail application to send and receive email using your own personal server. This concludes our video presentation on configuring your mail client to send and receive email using your own Patriot PS personal server. Thank you for watching. For more video presentation and documentation, please refer to our website at www.pexus.com/patriotps/media.